जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यामुनतीरावनचारी। यामुनतीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यामुनतीरावनचारी। यामुनतीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय ओं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सदस्य श्रीमद एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 7, text um, 22 to 25. 22, 23, 24 does not have purport. 25 has got purport. So I will just read the verse and the translation, and we will together do verse 25. Text 22. मुहूर्तम् अभवद्गोष्ठं रजसा तमसा वृतं सुतं यशोदा नापश्यत् तस्मिन् न्यस्तवती यतः. For a moment the whole pasturing ground was overcast with dense darkness from the dust storm, and Mother Yashoda was unable to find her son where she had placed him. Text 23. नापश्यत् कश्चनात्मानं परं चापि विमोहितः तृणावर्त निर्शिष्टाभिः शर्कराभिरुपद्रुतः. Because of the bits of sand thrown about by Trinavarta, people could not see themselves or anyone else, and thus they were illusioned and disturbed. Text 24. इति करपवनचक्रपांशुवर्षे सुतपदवीम् अबलाविलक्ष्य माता अतिकरुणम् अनुस्मरन्त्यशोचद् भुवि पतितामृत वत्सकायता गौः. Because of the dust storm stirred up by the strong whirlwind, Mother Yashoda could find no trace of her son, nor could she understand why. Thus she fell down on the ground like a cow who has lost her calf and began to lament very pitifully. Text 25. So please repeat after me. Ruditam anunishamya tatra gopyah brisham anutapta diyah अश्रुपूर्णमुख्यः रुरुदुः अनुपलभ्य नन्दसूनुं पवने उपारत पांशुवर्षवेगे. रुदितम् अनुनिशम्य तत्र गोप्यो वृषम् अनुतप्तधियोश्रुपूर्णमुख्यः रुरुदुरनुपलभ्य नन्दसूनुं पवन उपारत पांशुवर्षवेगे. रुदितमनुनिशम्य तत्र गोप्यो वृषं अनुतप्तधियोश्रुपूर्णमुख्यः रुरुधुरनुपलभ्य नन्दसूनुं पवन उपारत पांशुवर्षवेगे. रुरुदुरनुपलभ्य नन्दसूनुं पवन उपारत पांशुवर्षवेगे. रुदितम् अनुनिशम्य तत्र गोप्यो वृषम् अनुतप्तदियोश्रुपूर्णमुख्यः रुदुरनुपलभ्य नन्दसूनु अवनौ पारतपांशुवर्षवेगे रुदितम् अनुनिशम्य तत्र गोप्यो वृषमनुतप्तदियोश्रुपूर्णमुख्यः रुरुधुरनुपलभ्य नन्दसूनु पवन उपारतपांशुवर्षवेगे। माताजी रुदितम् अनुनिशम्य तत्र गोप्य पूर्णमुख्यः Ruditam, Mother Yashoda, crying pitifully. Anunishamya, after hearing, Tatra, there, Gopyah, the other ladies, the gopis, Brisham, highly, Anutapta, lamenting sympathetically after Mother Yashoda, Diyaha, with such feelings, Ashrupurna Mukyaha, and the other gopis, their faces full of tears, Ruruduhu, they were crying, Anupalabhya, without finding, Nandasunum, the son of Nanda Maharaja, Krishna, Pavane, when the whirlwind, Uparata, had ceased, Pangshuvarsha Vege, its force of showering dust. Translation unpurported by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON. Translation. When the force of the dust storm and the winds subsided, Yashoda's friends, the other gopis, approached Mother Yashoda, hearing her pitiful crying. Not seeing Krishna, they too felt very much aggrieved and joined Mother Yashoda in crying, their eyes full of tears. Purport. This attachment of the gopis to Krishna is wonderful and transcendental. The center of all the activities of the gopis was Krishna. When Krishna was there, they were happy, and when Krishna was not there, they were unhappy. Thus, when Mother Yashoda was lamenting Krishna's absence, the other ladies also began to cry. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivikasa Swaminiti Namine. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Ruditam Anunishamya Tatra Gopyo Brisham Anutapta Diyoshru Purna Mukyaha Rurudur Anupalabhya Nandasonu Pavana Uparata Pangshu Varshavege. When the force of the dust storm and the winds subsided, Yashoda's friends, the other gopis, approached Mother Yashoda, hearing her pitiful crying. Not seeing Krishna present, they too felt very much aggrieved and joined Mother Yashoda in crying, their eyes full of tears. So just in the verse 21, we just saw how because of the yogic powers of Trinavarta, how he completely covered the vision of the Vrajavasis, the Vrindavanavasis. They could not see anything because the whirlwind that created a great commotion there. So it was very huge sound. The sound itself was creating a kind of fear. The other day, Grace Kripakara Prabhu was making a point that in Australia, in other places, in the US, and when there is tornado, it used to be a heavy sound that comes with us, 100 kilometers per hour, or a heavy whirlwind, and there is also a heavy storm. There is a huge sound, and there is also, sometimes you have this sound of the siren. So like that, there is a huge sound, and it kind of creates a fear. And also it has completely the dust that was formed, it completely created darkness all around. And Srila Jiva Goswami, in his commentary, he makes a point that the whole Vrindavana became dark because of the dust that was created. Because also by this act, what Trinavarta did is Trinavarta took away Krishna, and Krishna also, for his own enjoyment, he by his Leela Shakti, he actually made himself lighter than a feather so that Trinavarta can easily carry him, and thus the Leela could manifest. Now, also Srila Jiva Goswami makes a point that there is the darkness. He says that because of because Krishna was not present, it was as if in Vrindavana there is no question of the three modes acting. But he just to make a point that there is an influence of Rajoguna and Tamoguna. And there is a Rajoguna and Tamoguna, it is darkness. So he's making a point like that. And also, yeah, that's the point. So as without the presence of Krishna, the whole Gokula was it has been covered by, appearing like it is covered by Rajoguna and Tamoguna. So there was darkness all around. And also, there is a great anxiety for Mother Yashoda. So what is the anxiety? We can just think of the situation. As a mother, and mother couldn't see the child, or maybe the child is lost. That feeling is very intense. Because the mother has got very deep affection for the child. And if the child is lost, how she will feel? Now, specifically in this situation, Mother Yashoda, because of the heaviness of Krishna, she had left Krishna down. And now she's not able to see where she had left Krishna because it was total darkness and she couldn't find. So that is the situation which is being explained here. Yeah. So, and also what is happening is nobody could see who is on the other side because it was such darkness. And we all know when there is specifically on Amavasya day, when there is heavy darkness, you can't see anything. So it was like that, and the situation became very intense. So she was feeling separation of Krishna. She couldn't find. And what is being explained in the previous verse, it is explained that, yeah, so that's the point that is being made in this verse. Trinavarta nistrishtabhihi sharkarabhir upadritaha. Text 23. It explains the point that because of the sand and then the dust that was created, it was appearing like there was a total illusion and everybody was upadritaha, everybody was disturbed. And further, to explain the situation, it is mentioned that Mother Yashoda, what is her situation, is being explained in verse 24. The verse says that what happened to her? It says that Anusmaranti Ashochat Bhuvi Patita Mritavatsaka Yata Gauhu. So, very nice analogy. Shukadeva Goswami is pointing out here that what happened to Mother Yashoda? Mother Yashoda started lamenting in great anxiety. She was really feeling for Krishna. What happened to my son? Where did he go? What happened to him? Just now I dropped him down. And so she was, the lamentation, Srila Prabhupada in the word to word, he points out that it is an extraordinary lamentation. It's not some kind of a little emotion. It's a transcendental emotion. She was undergoing such a pain. And we can understand when a pure devotee feels for the Lord, that is true emotions, and that is height of ecstasy. And she started walking back and forth. She was moving here and there, and she couldn't bear it. It was unbearable for her. And the analogy that is given here is that mrita vatsaka yata gauhu. And for those who have seen, when the calf is dead, mother cow cannot tolerate it. It's so painful for her. So like that, it is the analogy is given here. So like a last calf, like mother losing the calf, she began to lament very pitifully, and then she fell down. So that is the situation. And Srila Jiva Goswami in this commentary, he makes the point that abhala, he makes the point that she became very weak. In this verse 24, abhala word is used. Bhala, abhala. Abhala means, so there is another meaning that is given is that she lost all her strength. There was no strength at all. For her, without Krishna, there is no life. That is what the Vrajavasis or the Vrindavana-vasis, that is what they exhibit. For them, everything is Krishna. If there is no Krishna, life is Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahename. That is their life. And they are the perfect example for those verses. How does the verse begin? Yugaitam Nimeshena Chakshusha Pravarshaitam Jagat Sarvam Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahename. So separation from Krishna is very, very intense. And so what is the result? There is no bhala, there is no strength. Without Krishna, there is no strength. She became very weak. That's what Srila Jiva Goswami is explaining. And this is another, see how they're putting it there. The lamentation, she started lamenting very heavily. She started crying in separation of Krishna. And what that lamentation, it broke the stones. He says the stones is broken. It's very intense, very difficult for us to understand. We can't understand this, but that is the emotions that is being mentioned here. It's being pointed out. And also now we see here in this today's verse, the attachment of the gopis to Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda is explained, and also naturally their attachment to Krishna is also explained in this verse. So what has happened? Pavana uparata pangshu varsha vege. So when Pavana, so when that whirlwind stopped, so it is the Acharyas in the commentary, they point out that this situation was continuously there for 1 hour. For 1 hour it was complete darkness. They could not see anything. This is what Trinavrata did. So everything was dark, and the more the separation from Krishna, the more intense was the pain. So they were all in great anxiety. And when they all heard such a lamentation from Mother Yashoda's house, so they all came. After that darkness ceased, they all came to Mother Yashoda's. Why she's crying so much? What happened? So they all came. So that is the situation. So it is mentioned. Then further the verse says, Rurudur Anupalabhya Nandasunum. So Nandasunum here is Krishna. So without finding Krishna, so what happened? She started crying. Her face was full of tears. And also Ruditam word mentioned. Prabhupada translates the word to word meaning as crying pitifully. So these are all very pure emotions. Now, having heard this, Anunishamya Tatra Gopyo. So having heard this, the gopis immediately rushed to the spot. What is happening? Why Mother Yashoda is in great anxiety? So that's now Srila Prabhupada points out in the purport that the attachment of the gopis to Krishna is wonderful and transcendental. So this is amazing. So they had great attachment to Mother Yashoda. So also we can derive one more point is that, so the more we develop attachment to the devotees, that is the most glorious thing in this entire creation. We have to develop attachment to the devotees. By developing attachment to the devotees, we can develop attachment to Krishna. And those are real emotions. So then Prabhupada further he says, the center of all the activities of the gopis was Krishna. So this is the This is the whole goal of practicing Krishna consciousness. The Krishna consciousness practice should help us to always remember Him. Smartavyam satatam Vishnu vismartavyam na jatuchit. So always we should remember Krishna and we should never forget Him. Sarve vidhi nishedhasyat etayor eva kinkaraha. All the rules and regulations are meant for us to come to that stage of always remembering and never forgetting Krishna. So rules and regulations are not meant to be like something followed in the army, but it is meant to develop our dormant love for Krishna. That is what the rules and regulations are meant for. So now we see here, immediately when Krishna was missing from the scene, the gopis were completely, they were not happy. When Krishna was present, they were extremely happy. When Krishna was not present, they were completely unhappy. So now because Mother Yashoda was lamenting and crying, so they also started to cry very heavily in the absence of Krishna. So just recently we were hearing the Sikshashtaka seminar. So the point of in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he really exhibited these emotions. Some time back, Guru Maharaj gave a class just on the day of, just before Gaura Purnima. He made the point that the Lord appears, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears, and he appears and then he came to give love of God. So love of God, by love of God, what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving is that people in the material world, they are crying for something else. Everyone is crying, means they are lamenting, or some people are crying for various things. They want to have sometimes some of them are failures in some professional exams, or in the school they are a failure, or in the competitive jobs they are a failure, or in the sports they are a failure. So they cry, they lament, even it goes to such an extent that they commit suicide. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give the greatest thing, Unnata Ujjvala Rasam, Hari Purata Sundara Dudikadamba Sandipitaha, Spurato Va Sachinandana. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he says that he came to give the topmost bliss of Krishna consciousness, the pure love of God. And by experiencing that pure love of God, everybody will cry. So Maharaj made the point that, so let us go out and preach, come and join the Hare Krishna movement, we will make you cry. You all come and cry for Krishna. So, but this crying is out of bliss. So also one very amazing point Maharaj made that, so this crying, what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the experience of love of God, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is profusely distributing, makes one really happy. You may cry for Krishna, but that is real happiness. It appears like it is pain, but that is intense bliss. But then there are, for example, what Trinavarta is trying to do here is that by his action, he is also making everyone cry for Krishna. But the Asuras activities, they make cry for Krishna. In fact, Ravana, what he does, in fact, the name he got because he makes everyone cry, right? That is what Ravana does. So but that creates pain. But what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is offering, it is actually giving us great bliss. So that's what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining in the Sikshashtaka. So what is the real success of one's life? The real success of one's life is if somehow or other one can cry for Krishna. It's easy to say, but that is what Nectar of Devotion explains. Nectar of Devotion explains that the greatest success one can have in one's life is to devote one's life in Krishna's service, and by the practice of Krishna consciousness, one becomes purified. The more one becomes purified, then the loving sentiments for Krishna is aroused. The more one develops detachment to these material things and develops attachment to Krishna's lotus feet, then he develops pure emotions for Krishna. And that emotions will certainly make a person cry. And that is the perfection of one's life. And we can see here, otherwise what happens? We either cry for Krishna or we will cry for Maya. Cry for Maya means we will cry for all temporary things in the material world. That's what is happening really in this material world. So we may cry for our family members, we may cry for our friends, we may cry for the nation, or we may cry for the dog. Srila Prabhupada points out somewhere. People have dog and then they have they are not able to get good reciprocation from their friends or their relatives or whatever. So they want to have a dog, so that the dog is always nodding. It just does whatever it do, and then they cry for dog also. I'm not exaggerating. I had an experience with one of my relatives. They got a dog, and then even they were keeping the dog for some, maybe I don't know, maybe 5-6 years they were keeping, and one day the dog died, and then there was they had a ceremony on the day the dog died, and then there were so many email exchanges explaining the pastimes the dog performed with them, whatever they did. There are great emotions that they exchange with the dog, and how they used to eat with the dog. The dog will sleep with them in the bed, and then so they were not unable to bear the separation. They were crying, and so many email exchanges happened. And I also got the email from one of the relatives that, oh, this dog died and we are going to celebrate on this occasion. It's complete foolishness. It's a complete madness, actually. Yeah, in the Vedic tradition, you don't keep dog in the house. Why? Because it is asaucham. It's impure. The dog's hair is impure. But nowadays, who knows about it? Nobody knows about it. So they keep dog, and then they cry for dog, and then they cry for so many things. And also, here and when I came to Karpur, I had the first experience. Sometimes we see when the near and dear ones die, it's natural people cry because so many years you have spent with them. They cry for those people, the near and dear ones. But then actually you don't cry. You only have really some love and affection. In the material world, actually there is no love. It's all actually lust. But then also whatever apparent love you have for your near and dear ones, definitely there will be some emotions. You may cry. But then now what has happened is they have tapes here. A lady records like she's crying, and then when someone dies, they play the tape. Throughout the day, the tape will be played. So first time when I came here, I was saying in this ashram, one day I was hearing sound. Okay, 15 minutes I heard, 20 minutes I heard, half an hour. Then it is just going on and on. So I asked someone, what is it? Oh, Prabhu, you don't know. It is all recorded. It's a recorded play. It will just go on throughout the day. You will hear. And it was playing like that. So that is what it is in this material world. There is no real love and affection. And artificially, they play something and they cry. I remember Krishna's Prabhu used to say he went for one of, I think his father's, I think his father's demise event. And then he saw his relatives were crying for some time. And then after that, everything was okay. Everything was all right. Everybody was just talking so many things and what's the next food and what it is. So, the material world is like this. Everything is everything is for temporary. There's no real love, real affection. But here we can see the devotees, their affection, their lamentation, it's actually real. Krishna is real. Krishna's devotees are real. The relationship and the feelings are real. And we can see if we can develop the hankering and lamentation. So what the Bhagavad Gita says says that na shochati na kankshati. We should not ultimately, what is that? Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. So when one comes to the platform of Brahma bhuta, there is no more lamentation and no more hankering. But we see here so much lamentation and hankering is going on here. What is this? How do we understand this? This is real perfection. Lamentation, hankering for Krishna. So when a devotee really hankers for Krishna, hankers for Krishna's association, his devotees' association, and laments that he is not able to please the Lord. I should do more service. I should engage in more preaching. I should engage in distributing this knowledge. And if someone has such feelings, that is the perfection of life. That is the glory. So, and also we have this point from Nectar of Devotion. Nectar of Devotion is also in the material world, it appears like, what is this? Like separation from the Lord, or some kind of a suffering the devotees undergo. It is pain. That's what we perceive. But pain and pleasure in the material world, both are in a very blissful state. So, and also that's two things are there: Vipralamba and Sambhoga. Vipralamba is separation. So the ecstasy that arises from separation And also, there is also ecstasy arising from meeting. But from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy, we understand that the separation from the Lord, it makes it more intense. So that is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us. So that great highest ecstasy that one develops by developing separation. And to achieve that highest state or the transcendental state, there is no material formulas for that. There is no the real formula is to give ourselves 100%, give ourselves completely, uh, and that will invoke the mercy of the Lord. Of course, the mercy of the Lord is costless, but then again, also the devotee, the more he expresses his loving sentiments to the Lord by engaging in his service without any motive, then that is the um, price that we pay to develop great ecstasy. And also we understand specifically the practice of spiritual life. In the Nectar of Instruction also it is mentioned, Srila Prabhupada in the Purport, he mentions that devotional ecstasy arising, not that we are some, voidists, we are just emotionless and then we don't perform any activity. We perform so much of activities for Krishna. Practical action, activity we do for Krishna. That's why we see when bhakti word is defined, Srila Prabhupada defines it as devotional service. Not just some devotion, some sentiments, but devotion. What are you doing for Krishna? Okay, you have love for Krishna. What are you doing for him? So devotees in various ways they try to please Krishna. They cook for Krishna. Like yesterday we had festival. So many devotees were working for Krishna. Some of them were making garlands for Krishna. They were cooking for Krishna. They were they were decorating the temple. So many varieties of service devotees were engaged in. And that is the bliss. That is the bliss. That gives bliss because Krishna is being pleased. His devotee is pleased. So in spiritual life, so these emotions that we have for the Lord, they are true. So this is what in the previous some of the purpose also we saw. Prabhupada is constantly making the point that the Mayavadis, they try to completely cut all relationships. They don't want to have any relationships because the previous life they had experience that the relationships that they had in the material world, it was not fruitful. They had bad relationships. So they think that let's not have any relationships. But it doesn't work like that. Always the jiva hankers for some relationship. That's why they cannot stay even by controlling the senses and mind, realizing that you are not this body, they go up to the Brahman platform. They cannot last there. They have to patantyado anadrita yushmadangreha. Because if you have not developed loving devotional service to the lotus feet of the Lord, you cannot stay there. You will hanker for something and then come to the material world and engage in various social service. This is what will happen. So that is the point. So we have to understand that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He is a person and he has his own wishes. He has his likes and dislikes. And then we can see here, Krishna likes to go up. He wants to move around in the sky, watching from distance. So he's making, by his Leela Shakti, he's making all these arrangements. And not that if you cannot understand this, you put this on the side and then you filter it. But this is what Bhagavatam is explaining. So we need to understand this. So by this, just by appreciating Krishna's amazing activities and how he's a person, actually our real personality develops. So otherwise, what we shun our personality. So when we hear from Mayavadis and other people, then we may just completely be misdirected. That's why it is said that Mayavadi bhashya shunile sarvanash. If you hear the Mayavadi interpretations, finally we come to a state where we understand that Krishna is an impersonal. There's nothing, no one like Krishna. Is an imaginary person, or you can also become Krishna. And all these very wrong ideas you develop. So, but we understand that Krishna is actually enjoying amazing relationships with his devotees. He has, with some of the devotees, he's having conjugal relationship. He allows his devotees to have parental relationship, the friendly relationship. So Krishna is Raso Vaisaha. He's the source of all the bliss. He's actually undergoing all these great relationships with his devotees. And also one other thing that we can experience is that the relationships that we have in this material world is all temporary. You may experience some bliss, some kind of a shadow bliss for some time, but that's not going to last. Immediately, it's going to be only pain here because that's how the material world is created. There is Sukha and dukkha. There is no one side of coin. Coin has got both the sides, happiness and distress. Soon, it appears like there is going to be happiness for some time, but soon the distress is going to come. It's a matter of time. So, but with Krishna, one can have eternal relationship, eternal bliss. So that's what the Lord is offering. And by the practice of Krishna consciousness, we can develop those pure sentiments for the Lord. So, and one very important thing we need to understand is that these sentiments that we have for Krishna are really transcendental. It is pure, and it is nothing to do with mundane sentiments. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur often he pointed out that we should not be carried away by the sahajiyas. Now, the word sahaja, sahaja in Tamil also there is a word called sahajam. Sahaja means it's something casual. So you just take it for granted. There are so many people who are imitators. They show themselves like they are great devotees, and then they come. They are big kathakars. Some time back we went to Jaipur. People, he has dressed himself in such a nice way, and then there is when he may say some points about Krishna. He may quote some verse. He may sing a song glorifying Krishna. Immediately tears will flow, and then they have to shoot the particular video at the time. And then he glorifies about Krishna and this and that. But then after some time, after the class is over and everything, he does his routine thing. He goes and watches TV. He drinks tea. He drinks coffee. He does normal thing. So it's not so cheap. Krishna consciousness or the pure bliss of Krishna consciousness is not so cheap. So this is the natural function of the soul. These emotions are natural function of the soul, and one can exhibit pure love for Krishna only when one is completely detached from matter. Otherwise, it is not possible. Simultaneously, both things will not go together. I want to enjoy my senses on one hand. Another thing, I want to experience spiritual bliss. It doesn't go together. So if somebody is preaching like this, you do whatever you want. Yeah, you can practice spiritual life also. That means he is completely cheating. So we need to understand that very clearly. So that's why we don't put on the side these rules and regulations. Sometimes people speak, it's all love. Just you develop love for Krishna. Let's hear those topics which are only speaking about. Let's get into the 10th canto. That's where the real rasa is. But then to experience a real rasa, the real bliss, we need to go through. Srila Rupa Goswami, why he has given the nectar of instruction. The very first instruction, Vacho Vegam, Manasaha Krodha Vegam, Jigva Vegam, Udara Upastha Vegam. All these Vegas needs to be controlled. Otherwise, we'll become a sahajiya. It will not last for long. So many people, who have just jumped into so-called ecstasy, where they are, what happened to them? They have just disappeared from the scene. I don't want to engage in service. I want to do nirjana bhajana. Prabhupada so many times he warned. He said that it is not possible. In fact, Prabhupada's mood was preach till the last breath. Work now, later samadhi. That was Srila Prabhupada's mood. So the point is that we need to purify the material desires. Srila Lochana Das Thakur in his song, he says, Vishaya Chadiya Serase Majhiya Muke Bolo Hari Hari. Yes, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave the most easiest process, the most sublime process, a very easy way he has given us. He is just requesting only one thing, just give up sense gratification. That's all. And that also will happen when one takes up to the chanting of Hare Krishna very seriously. Naturally, it will happen. When Srila Prabhupada went to America, so he was chanting in the Tompkins Square Park, pure chanting of Hare Krishna. He was chanting, and then he was holding weekly thrice. He was holding the Gita classes in the evening. So he used to have a lot of chanting. Before the class, he will have chanting, and after the class, he will have chanting. And then he was speaking pure philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Because it's so important, right? The mind needs to be fixed. If we think that, I will be completely 24 hours chanting Hare Krishna, great. If someone can do that. But who can do that? When our mind, senses and mind is not controlled, it is not possible to do that. So that's why in our Krishna consciousness movement, we have the whole process, we have a whole package. We have from morning to evening, we have Mangalarti, we have Tulasi Puja, we have time for japa, we have various other sevas, cooking, building temple, distributing books, various preaching programs. Because our mind needs to be controlled and it needs to be in a peaceful state. Otherwise, you can't artificially try to sit in one place and chant the names of Krishna. It's not possible. We can try. We will end up miserably. We will end up we will fall down. Srila Prabhupada said that you may try something like that, but then you may just simply end up eating and sleeping. So, but we have to be sufficiently purified. Srila Narottama Das Thakur in his song, he says that, so we need to, how does that song second line goes? He says that, Gauranga bolite habe, polaka sharira, hari hari bolite, nayan bhabe nira, and then, Ar kabe nitai chandar, karuna hoibe, samshara vashana mora kabe tuchcha habe. This is the point. So we have to get the mercy of Nityanand Prabhu. So what is the symptom of having got the mercy of Nityanand Prabhu? Samsara vasana kabe tuchcha habe. That is what it is. So to enjoy this very strong propensity we have to enjoy this material world. It's very, very, somebody may think that, oh, I've joined the movement, now I'm chanting for so long, now I don't have, if you just, little bit, and we don't have to act. Every one of us know how much of material desires we have. We don't have to artificially pose ourselves as some big devotee. We all know. So we have to acknowledge that, and we have to really work. We have to really pray to the Lord. And we have to ask Srila Prabhupada and those sincere Prabhupada are guiding us. We have to engage in the preaching mission. So that will purify us. That will purify us tremendously. So much purification will happen. That purification will lead us to real ecstasy. In fact, our mind and senses will be purified so that we will be qualified enough to enter into the higher levels of Krishna consciousness. Yeah, in fact, this whole to be absorbed in preaching itself is that itself requires great commitment and great dedication. It's not so easy. That also requires mind needs to be controlled, senses needs to be controlled. That is why we don't want to simply do little kirtan or just come during Sunday, just do little kirtan for 1 hour, play mridanga kartal, and then just go and then do. It doesn't work like that. We need to really sweat for the Lord. Sweating for the Lord means not literally doing some hard work, but with mind, body, words absorbed. And for that to happen, we need to hear. You see, that's it. In the temple in which the devotees regularly hear and read, the temple manager or the president does not have much work to do. In the sense, he does not have to all the time do a big preaching, pushing devotees. Come on, do this service. It is good for you. Come and do this. No need. Because they are already a devotee is inspired. Because he knows the more I engage in service, the more I'm purified. The more I'm freed from all the anarthas. And then these real emotions will be developed. Otherwise, it requires so much preaching. The temple commander has to come and then preach so much. I remember one of the classes, Guru Maharaj said that the success when, by kirtan, by chanting, there is devotees cry so much that the whole temple hall is wet. And then the temple commander has to make arrangement to clean the temple hall. Guru Maharaj is making this point. So when one is fixed in Krishna consciousness, Siddhanta bholiye chitte na kore alash, iha hoite Krishna lage sudruda manas. So that is why we will all become sahajiyas if we don't regularly hear and then understand what Srila Prabhupada has given. Then we will simply, we will be deviants. We will think that, okay, let me just go to Vrindavan, sit in the bank of Radha Kund, and then simply cry for Krishna. Then how many people tried like that? What happened to all those great stalwart devotees? And here I'm not criticizing others who are really, there are devotees who are in that level, who are really having so much absorbed, they are into the Raganuga platform and like that. But Srila Prabhupada for us is very clearly indicated us to really work for Krishna, and then the real emotions and devotees cry for Krishna. They come and pray. This kirtan, when we come and do, kirtan is not only singing for Krishna, also glorifying the Lord, going out, preaching, very much busily engaged in preaching. Now marathon is coming up, devotees are distributing books. So there are devotees throughout the year they're distributing books. Throughout the year they're going out for preaching. So why the spiritual masters are considered very advanced? Because they are so much absorbed in preaching Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada, he really instilled this mood. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he wanted this. He did not want this sahajiyism to be dominant in the society. So he was very strongly preaching. So Srila Prabhupada, also understanding this mood, he knew how devotees may get diverted. So he helped the devotees. He just very much engaged them in preaching Krishna consciousness. So we see how Mother Yashoda is expressing her great lamentation for Krishna. So 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 we to understand this, we need to be fixed in the practice of Krishna consciousness. And we see all the great devotees, they were experiencing these great emotions. And as nectar of devotion gives us this understanding that, yeah, the separation from Krishna, it's considered very high. And we cannot artificially jump into all these things. So that we need to work in the Hare Krishna movement. We need to work, we need to push ourselves, follow the rules and regulations, follow the basics, and also understand the spirit behind it. And we work towards, so let it be chanting, doing any service for the Lord. So we should be in that mood. So there is one nice verse in the Bhagavatam which explains that how, which also gives us the real mood of those who are practicing Krishna consciousness. What should be our mood apart from ourselves experiencing the bliss of Krishna consciousness? Krishna consciousness, the real bliss one develops by the more he gives. The more he gives, the more one gets. That's the whole point. So etavad janma sapalyam dehinam iha dehishu pranair artair dhyavacha shreyaha acharanam sada. So the Krishna is instructing Balaram and other Gopas when they were under the tree. So he was looking at the tree and then he was explaining that, see this tree, how it is selflessly serving everyone. The tree is giving shelter. It is during the summer it is giving shelter, and then there is selflessly it is giving. It is giving. So like that, pranair artair, with our life, with the words, with our intelligence, vacha. So with the words, with the body, with all this, we should purify our own existence, and the most important thing, we should try to help others to come to Krishna consciousness. So this is so crying for Krishna. It's it's a big thing, but really one will come to that stage provided we follow how Srila Prabhupada has given us. So like that. So how Mother Yashoda, here it is mentioned that how she was like a calf, like how a mother, when the calf died, how the cow cannot control their emotions. It's really, it laments. So like that, Mother Yashoda was lamenting when Trinavarta took away Krishna. So so these are the pure emotions of the devotees, and we will see more as the chapter unfolds. We will see how Krishna is going to crush Trinavarta, and how he's going to establish that Krishna is, again, he's showing by his Leela Shakti that there is no one equal to him and there is no one above him. And also he's by performing all these amazing pastimes, Krishna is giving an invitation to everyone. Come and there is the real emotions, the real ecstasy is there with me. So don't struggle in this material world. So we'll stop here. So if you have any questions or comments, any realizations, any other points.
Maybe you could elaborate a bit more on the point you made about quite continuously about always remembering Krishna and never forgetting Krishna.
Oh.
That's easy to do when you're in the temple and you're surrounded by devotees and you're chanting the holy names and you're hearing the philosophy. A lot of devotees have to go out into the world and interface with people in their jobs and also in family dealings. So how do we think of Krishna in those situations? What's the best way to think of Krishna in those situations?
Yeah, specifically for those devotees who are staying in the temple, it's more easy, and also those who are staying full time, they are directly engaged. They don't have any. That's their main activity, to engage in Krishna service. Apart from that, those who are family people and others who have so many other commitments, social responsibilities, other responsibilities. So yes, so that's why we have this the satsanga, the association of devotees is so important. It helps us. So that gives us the strong foundation. So by coming in association of devotees, regularly coming to the temple in the morning, attending Mangalarti, chanting with the devotees, hearing the Bhagavatam. So it gives us the strength to go out and face the outside world. So even for everyone, even when you go out to the outside world, the very nature of the material world, it pulls us, it sucks us, all our energy. The three modes are always pulling us. But then this is giving us a great shelter. It's like an umbrella. When there is a rain and you're under the umbrella, you are protected from the rainfall. Similarly, so when we are regularly hearing and chanting and associating with devotees, this gives us a strength to how to deal in various situations, how to very expertly work with others and like that. Of course, also there's a saying that is asat sangat tyagat. We must be very careful with whom we are associating, what they are speaking, what we are hearing. We have to be careful about that. And also we should be intelligent enough to those who are very experienced devotees, hear from them, how specifically those who are family people, they should learn how to manage their life, how to balance their life. Srila Prabhupada in one of the purports of the Gita, he says that 24 hours one should mold their life in such a way that one can remember Krishna 24 hours a day. Well, and that is how to do that. So the work, someone is so much absorbed in so much work, they can think of on a longer run, maybe at this point of time they may not be able to do it, but how they can change their work lifestyle so that they can get time to chant, read Prabhupada's books, so they can work on that. And any other, as Srila Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Instruction, he says, so they can reveal their mind to someone with whom they have faith, or to the spiritual authorities, and then somehow or other make endeavors to get into the program of Shravanam and Kirtanam. So that is a simple formula by which one can keep oneself enlivened. So that will help. And so that's the whole point. And also, if they get extra time, the more you engage in preaching, distributing books, meeting people, going out on Harinam, all these things give so much energy. It gives us so much spiritual strength, and we become enlivened. Krishna consciousness become very much enlivened, and we become more inspired. We want to inspire others also. So yes, the sadhana is the foundation, and also going out, understanding what Srila Prabhupada has given us, the mood that he has set to preach, that gives us more and more strength. So like that. We'll stop here. Yes. Question there, the last.
Hare Krishna. I just want to share what I heard last week from Guru Maharaj lecture. And one devotee asked Guru Maharaj that why should Ram suffer? He is Bhagavan. Why should he suffer, cry and lament like this? And then Maharaj replied that Ram is in spiritual world, everything, the crying or lamenting or anything is only transcendental happiness. And then he gave an example also saying that, and we conditioned souls, we are hearing the Ramayana so many times, this lamentation and sorrow of Ram, but we are in bliss. It is like that. So crying for Krishna, like crying for Rama, and Rama crying, everything is only bliss.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.